we are live. Welcome, welcome. I'm super excited for today's show. Ed, remember you're not muted, so hey guys, I am going to be talking to Ed tonight. That's my husband. We just released Fix It Yourself, and we are so excited to talk with you guys about maintenance and all your questions. I have a few questions. Ed has a few what would you call it, true false questions that he's going to quiz me on, because I went through the entire course, and so hopefully I know most of the answers. I see, yeah, let's just get into it. As you guys know, Ed Wilcox is my husband. He's a certified RV technician. He went to the RV Service Academy, and the last few months we have been working on a course called Fix It Yourself, an RV maintenance course to help you, yes, you actually fix things yourself. Hey, Natasha. Okay, good. There are people coming online. Awesome. I know this was, I'm at the RV Entrepreneur Summit, so I didn't heavily promote this, and I know a lot of people that actually watch the show live are actually here, and they're at a happy hour right now, so we might not have as many people online tonight, but Exploring the Local Life is here. Natasha from Nursing Our Travel Blog, or Travel Bug, is here. I met her at the Full-Time Families reunion, so shout out to her and her husband Bill. They've got an awesome little blog over there. But thanks you guys for watching. Let's bring out Ed. Let's get this thing rolling. Hey Ed, we can see you. How are you?
Doing well. How are you tonight, Liz?
I'm great. I just realized I'm in like TVC live mode, and I'm interviewing you like you're a stranger, but you're my husband. So, hey babe, how are you? Miss you.
I miss you.
Ed and I actually haven't seen each other in like 15 days. Back when he was in the Army, that's not a long time, but when you live in an RV and you travel full time, it's kind of a long time now. Oh, Linda's here. Hey, Linda. Happy birthday.
Linda.
Thank you, Linda. Brian's here. Awesome. I'm super excited for tonight. Yeah, we're just going to get into it. So I do have a couple questions for Ed, and I hope he can answer them. And if not, then we will get the answer for you guys. Let me find them. And if you guys have questions in the, just, you know, the drill, just pop them in the comments, and we will do our best to answer them. So RV maintenance question number 1.
Woo!
Monica says, we have a 4 Seasons travel trailer, and the bottom is sealed up nice and tight. Is there an easy way to get under there to check for leaks and such? Should we even bother?
Well, is there an easy way to get to an underneath the underbelly of a travel trailer? Well, they're kind of designed to not be easy to get into, so that it actually stays airtight. But yes, you can. I was working underneath a fifth wheel, and he was having issues with his gate valve. And so what the person did before him is they actually, in the plastic underbelly, they cut out a square hatch. You know, they just like cut the 3 sides of the square and left the 4th side open, and then used a piece of wood behind it and then screwed through the plastic into the wood in order to close that little hatch. So you could make a hatch like that that would work well, so that you could at least poke your head up in and take a gander.
That's a good idea. Thanks for sharing. I was like, there's no way you're getting in there.
It's not a fun job to do. Getting into your underbelly is, I mean, it's, anytime someone calls and they're like, hey, I've got this issue with my RV, it's in my underbelly, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it's always, I'm sure, like she said, she's got the 4 Seasons, so it's sealed up nice and tight, like she put it, so I'm sure that's really hard. Can I just say, this is really weird interviewing my husband, especially, he's where I normally sit, you guys, so I'm in a hotel room, as you can see, and so if you see or hear Chelsea, she's like literally just watching TV right now. Let's take a question from the audience before I forget it. Scylla is asking, what is the easiest and best way to de-winterize? Any suggestions?
To de-winterize?
Yeah.
a lot of your de-winterizing and how easy it is to de-winterize, a lot of that has to do with how you winterized. So the easiest way to de-winterize easily is to winterize easy, if that makes sense. Now, if your climate doesn't really account for that, then, but
So
the
what
easiest
do
way.
you mean by winterize easily? So describe the process then, I guess, from winterizing to springtime de-winterizing.
All right, so the process is essentially you hook up your supply water and you really just start rinsing the old antifreeze out. And it's really that easy. You just run all your sinks, run everything until the color and the smell from the antifreeze is gone. That's the easiest way to de-winterize.
That's de-winterizing.
And also to
de-winterize,
yes.
I'm sorry, let me repeat that. I was asking, so you mentioned about winterizing easily. Can you describe how to winterize easily to make it so de-winterizing is easiest?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So there's two different methods to winterize your camper. You can either do the shutoff on your water heater and then the bypass, and then pump through your 12-volt water pump. I'm actually pointing to my pump. That's why I'm pointing over in that direction. So on your water pump, there's going to be a bypass kit. So it'll actually just suck all the antifreeze through all your lines. That's one way. And then you just run a little bit into your, out of your faucets and just make sure you've got that color coming out through everything. The second way is at your low point drain, you can just drain all the water out, drain your water heater, and, just leave everything as is, drain all the water. You can get an air gun that will blow into your water inlet, so that way it'll blow all the water out the low point drains, and then you can take a little bit of antifreeze and just pour it in your P-traps. That's it. That way would be a lot easier to get rid of the antifreeze at the end of the season, or at the beginning of the season.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense. Thanks for clarifying that. I don't know much about de-winterizing. If you've ever read the book Tales from the Black Tank, actually, is that story in there? No, this story isn't in there, but I think I wrote this story for Camping World about our first expedition in the RV and how we went to Connecticut. And oh yeah, this is why I remembered the book, because I kept saying, Ed, this guy in our Tales from the Black Tank book, he went to Connecticut, which is where we were going, and his hot water heater exploded. We need to check on that. And of course there were 1,000 other things happening. As you see Ed, he's just like, don't tell this.
It exploded, people. It exploded.
Yeah, so there were 1,000 other things to do, and it was so cold. Not this winter, but last winter, so a year ago. Remember, it was so cold everywhere. It snowed in Florida. And so he ended up buying the antifreeze for us because I kept bothering him, and he left it on the porch, and it froze. That's how cold it was. And he said, look, Liz, I'm glad I procrastinated because that froze right here. So, yeah, Heidi says, hey, Liz and Ed, they're at the Escapers, or the Escapade in Tucson, so can't stay on long. I guess that's another reason why there's not a lot of people online tonight. The Escapade in Arizona and the RV Entrepreneur Summit I'm at right now. So most people that follow me are in one of those clubs. So yeah, I get it.
They're
totally
busy.
Fine. But yeah, if you have, Heidi, if you're still watching, if you have a maintenance question, throw it our way right now because we're answering it live. And of course, you can always catch the replay later. All right, let me look for another question. Sorry, keeping it super professional tonight and official on my phone, so of course I lost my spot. Oh, this is a great question. Dana is asking, our truck battery won't hold a charge. We even bought new batteries. How do you find where the drain is coming from?
Well, first off, it sounds like if you've already changed the batteries, that it's either the voltage regulator or the alternator, because within your system, if it's not the batteries and you replace the batteries and they keep dying, I would I mean, simple as go to AutoZone or Advance Auto Parts or O'Reilly's or Napa or wherever you feel like going, and have them attach a load meter onto your battery and see if the alternator is actually sending charge. And if it's not, then it could be just that easy as, changing your alternator in the truck or a voltage regulator. But a lot of the time, on some of the newer style starters, the voltage regulator is actually inside the alternator. So if either your voltage regulator or the alternator goes bad, you just change one instead of having to change both.
Okay, so you would say, like what, like 90% chance it's one of those two things?
Oh yeah, I'm almost positive it's the alternator, but I don't want to just put one thing out there when it could possibly be the voltage regulator.
Okay.
But just bring it to your local auto parts store. They can test it and tell you exactly what it is.
See, this is why I have Ed. Other than the fact that I love him, this is why I have Ed RVing.
Besides the love part.
I mean, he's pretty cute to me. What I was gonna say is, I always tell people I could never RV without Ed or drive apparently, because I don't know any of this stuff. And yeah, he's raising his eyebrows. He's probably thinking of the car I had when I met him. All the problems it started having. Here's a great question from Nursing Our Travel Bug, if I could say that. We haven't repacked our bearings on our wheels in almost 2 years that we've owned the RV. Are we crazy? Should we do this ASAP?
Well, I don't know what year the RV is. That makes a big difference. But if you packed the bearings 2 years ago and...
No, I think they did buy used. I think correct me if I'm wrong, Natasha, I think it's a used 2015 Jayco North Point fifth wheel.
Yes, pack the bearings.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be like a Class C or something, but no.
No, it's a fifth wheel.
Yes, get the bearings packed while you're in there. Have them take a look at the friction arm on the brakes and also the brake pads, and make sure everything is hunky dory. Now, if something is wrong in there, I don't know. I think since it's a Jayco, it has lipper axles. I'm not sure what their warranty is, but if there is something wrong inside of the axle, it could be covered under warranty if there's something actually broken.
Okay, I was wrong. Because, Natasha says it's a 2017. So it's not quite that old.
Do they know how many miles they've gone with it? But, I mean, if it's been 2 years and they've been full-timing, it's probably a good idea to go ahead and pack those bearings. It's really not a huge deal either.
Yeah. Can you describe the process? Because I know a lot of people have this question about packing the bearings and such. So
the big part is making sure that it's safe when you jack it up before you take the wheel off. But once you get the jack it up, find a good spot, get the wheel up off the ground, pull the lug nuts off, and then just start taking it down. Start with actually, you only have to take that nut. You should only have to take a nut off the center with a cotter pin that's through it. Take the nut off, and then the bearings should come right out, and you can inspect it, check the quality of the grease, and, if it's just looking generally scongy.
Scongy, y'all. Did you make that word up?
That's more California. I got it from a car show.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But it was scongy. I said it. Scongy.
Hey, guys, tell me if I'm echoing, because I hear it. Ed, do you hear it?
I do not.
Okay, great. Heidi is asking, there's lots of opinions out there. What do you do to maintain the look of your new RV tires?
So keeping your tires clean, I would just, if you're in your park and you run through like a mud puddle, I would just use a simple cleaner, nothing crazy. Because anything you put on your tires has the chance to hurt your tires also. Tire shine is actually not that good for tires because it actually attracts more light and heat to them, so they bake faster. But really, I mean, if you're that concerned about it, just get like a stiff bristle brush and some water and just hit the spots that have a little mud on them. But your wheels, if you're concerned about your wheels as well, you can wax the hubcaps or the aluminum wheels, so that way it'll keep them looking fresh,
That's
super
awesome.
blinging.
That's a really good like note there that you said, the blacker they are or clean, the more they attract sunlight. That makes
Well,
sense.
it's the shine. It's,
Okay.
when you have light reflecting off of something, all the light is still hitting it. So it heats up the rubber and it just dries it out even worse. And then if you continue to apply it, it's, I don't know the word I'm looking for. It's exponential. The more you do it, the
Okay.
worse it gets.
Okay. So a little grime is okay.
Oh yeah, I've cleaned my tires like the 2 times that I've washed my RV.
Yeah. Ed and
At the
I,
same place, both times.
yeah, Ed and I aren't very concerned with our looks. I mean, look at my bun right now. Ed's
I'm
wearing
wearing
a
a cat
cat shirt.
t-shirt.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so, as long as we arrive, we arrive. We don't have to arrive in style, right, babe?
Hey, we're in style. We're in a Jayco Greyhound.
Yeah. It's an '07, right? I always mess up the year.
Yeah, it's an '07.
All right, cool. Brian is asking, do you have any tricks for closing a Class A entry door so the wind noise decreases when you're going down the road?
Okay.
What?
I mean, you would think that if you, I mean, if you're getting a lot of wind noise from the door in your Class A, if you can't get the door to close all the way, try pulling on it a little bit and locking it and see if that helps. If not, you can take like some puffy double-sided tape and on the door just run it around the perimeter of the door, and it'll actually make it so the door will close a little bit harder, but it'll also make a new barrier for keeping it, I guess, pressurized while you're cruising down the road.
You said puffy tape?
It's just double-sided tape. It's a
Okay.
foam tape, and it's got sticky stuff on both sides, and you're just not going to take the sticky stuff off the other side.
Okay, so you would just get that at Home Depot or something?
Yeah, or if you can get like a foam tape, or you don't need anything super thick. Like a 1/4 inch thick should be more than enough. But yeah, you can get it at Home Depot, Best Buy, or I don't know if you can get it at Best Buy, but Amazon's probably going to be your best bet.
Amazon? Okay. See guys, I read that question. I was like, there's no way Ed knows this. I'm going to stump him right now live in front of all 16 people. but here he is again correcting me. All right, cool. Heidi says, thanks, Ed. Good advice about the
Welcome,
tire.
Heidi.
All right, we've got another question coming in. These are awesome, guys. If you have a question, if you're joining us, just pop it
Yeah,
in the
hit me with them.
comments. This is my personal, I'm going to try to stump Ed in front of these people. So bring it on. Looking at me cross his arm. He's like probably all puffed up now like, oh yeah, let's do this. So this is Scylla. I think this is the same person that was asking about dewinterizing. She said, we got a little pink antifreeze in the water heater because we turned the wrong valve. How do you clean this out before you use it?
Well, you can actually drink RV antifreeze. It is potable. So a little bit of pink antifreeze isn't going to hurt you if you do drink it. Now, the best way to empty it is to just pull the plug off the front of the water. Well, shut the supply water off first, and then just pull the plug on your water heater and let it all drain out. If you get a hose and you can kind of jam it in there a little bit off to the side and just kind of blow the water around in there. But it's just as easy as draining the plug, and then whatever general grossness is in the bottom, just kind of rinse it out.
Okay, so a little bit isn't gonna kill you.
But
Like if you don't get it all out.
make sure the electric element is off before you drain your water heater.
Yeah, can you tell us why? I know you mentioned this in the course, but can you tell us
So
what happens?
Well, the factory element is a little bit better, but the aftermarket ones, when you have that element, it glows cherry red when it's in the water. So if you have no water in there, when you hit it with cold water, it just flashes off, and the tank fills up with steam, and you can actually rupture your tank.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
Danger.
Now tell us, I know you answered that question. You started off and you said, um, if you get a little bit of antifreeze, you can actually drink that. And I know this was one of the things when I was editing the course that I had no freaking clue. And I was so grateful you put this in. Can you tell us, so regular antifreeze, you obviously cannot drink, right?
Correct. Oh, you're talking about somebody who their RV actually got winterized with regular antifreeze. That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, you mentioned in the course something about regular antifreeze versus RV antifreeze and
Right.
the difference and why it's so important to use RV antifreeze.
So regular car antifreeze, it's poisonous to pretty much anybody who drinks it. Dogs, cats, people, farm animals, everybody. It'll affect you. It's poisonous. So if you drink it, then it can kill you. But RV antifreeze, since it's made to go in your water system, it has to be potable in order to, if someone, doesn't dewinterize properly and they, get a glass of water at night and it comes out pink and they still drink it anyway, they're not going to get harmed. Also, the RV antifreeze doesn't permeate into the plastic PEX lines, but the regular car antifreeze does. It'll permeate into the plastic. And the story that I told, the person actually had to get all new water lines in their coach because the place where they had it winterized put regular car antifreeze in the water lines.
That's insane. And that just goes to show you, okay, so this is a little shameless promotion. One of the reasons why, I was so adamant about creating Fix It Yourself and trying to convince Ed was he was coming home with all these, sorry guys, he was coming home with all these stories, I know, about, oh, this guy took it to the dealer and they didn't do this. The story he just shared about somebody putting regular antifreeze into his RV, which clearly he has to use the pipes for drinking. And, all these things. I think that's probably one of the things that convinced you, Ed, to create the course because there's just so much misinformation and people out there that just clearly don't know what they're doing that it's so important to learn these systems for yourself so you can literally do it for yourself because, no one's going to do a better job than you, right, on your own RV.
Exactly. And think about this for the people watching. The course that I went to was in Palmettos, 10 weeks long, but it was only $6,000. If you plan on full-time RVing for any period of time, you're going to pay someone $6,000 throughout that period of time. So
Totally.
Learning for yourself, if you want to go the route of being an RV tech, then it is a fantastic, or even if you're just going to use it to fix your own RV, it ends up saving you money in the end.
Yeah, I know some friends, I actually just saw them again at the little happy hour they had a couple hours ago. I think they spent something like $10,000 last year on RV costs. And I mean, while some stuff, clearly you need, a service bay for when you're working on diesel engines and things like that. But half of that stuff, I remember, 6 months ago or something, showing it to Ed, and he said, oh, well, I could have done that, or they could have done that by themselves. And so really just stories like that just convinced us, like, okay, people need to know they can do this for themselves. So.
Right, and I'm not trying to make people RV inspectors or, RV repairmen. I'm just trying to make you a little bit more confident so you can fix things yourself instead of, having to call somebody anytime something goes bad. So you can at least have a little bit of confidence to kind of at least troubleshoot it and find out what's wrong. So that way the person coming to fix it can actually feel comfortable. Or you have information for them, rather.
Right, and I think there's a lot of solo female RVers out there that are so nervous. And there are people, you're in the middle of nowhere, you don't know where you are, you call a repairman. He might take advantage of you just because you simply have zero clue. And not that I like to, even say that, because you like to think everyone's, in it together and not for themselves. But I know a lot of women that said, oh, they charged me $1,000 for this. And I'm like, dude, that was like $100 repair. Like, you could have done that in 20 minutes. But anyway, Johnny Lightning is here. Hey, Johnny. Sorry I'm late. Yeah, he said he changed his profile picture. Check it out, guys. He's got the lightning going on. Anyway, let's get back to the questions. Sorry about this rant. We really just feel strongly that you can fix your RV yourself. I mean, I would say 75-80% of the things. First of all, preventative maintenance. Second, if you just know how to fix it, then you're golden. Exploring the local life asks, this is a good question, and I actually don't know the answer. Ed, have you ever had to fix something that was caused by a DIY renovation? If so, what was it? How did you fix it? That's a fun question.
Actually, I have. So I was working on this couple. This was actually not too long ago. While they were traveling, they full time in their fifth wheel, and it was a metal closet rod in their bedroom. And the problem is it only attached in two spots, and it bent the bar. So they just put in a wood bar and thought everything was good. But after a while, the wooden bar was like, it looked like a banana. I mean, it had fallen out a couple times, and I had to go in there and find a stud and make it so that I could put a support in so that they wouldn't lose all their clothes every time they moved it. I think besides that, the only other problems I've had from DIY stuff was when I decided to change the floor in our Alpha. I had to fix my own problems from a DIY. So we pulled up the carpet, and
I'm
while
smiling so big right now, guys.
Why?
Because it was a nightmare. I was just telling people at the summit about it. I was saying, oh my gosh, we would never do that again because we caused so many problems. But go on.
If I had known that pulling up this one piece of carpet was going to change our lives for like the next 6 months,
10.
I would have never pulled up any carpet. So we were just going to pull up carpet and put wood floor down because we had a stinky dog and she was just permeating her stink into the carpet. So we wanted to get rid of the carpet. We pulled everything up and found mold in the kitchen. So then we had to pull the entire kitchen out, put it in the living room so I could fix some stuff in the corner. Fixed all that, put all the kitchen back, and then pulled out the rest of the floor, but I left the section right in front of, right at the sofa so I could just leave the sofa there and I wouldn't have to move it. Cut all the floor out, everything was good, and then I moved the sofa. And when I moved the sofa, I found more rot. So the whole back wall came out. I pulled all that, dropped Chelsea's bed and everything. But when I put the floor in, I decided I was going to put a thicker underlayment in. Don't do that.
Don't do that, guys.
Yeah, just use the peel
good
stick.
Look? Oh. Yeah.
No, it was terrible.
Yeah.
It was the worst. And so because it was thicker than the carpet was, when we had everything done, everything was looking perfect, and then we put the slides in for the Camping World guy to pick it up, and it scratched the floor like you wouldn't. It ruined the floor. It was like $700.
We really messed up. We didn't know, well, we knew, but we didn't know. And yeah, I was telling someone today, they were talking about they've been renovating their Airstream for 2 years. And I was like, you know what? I think you got us beat. We renovated for 10 months and we literally sold it the day we put the last piece of flooring. It was like hours.
We put the last piece of flooring on because we sold.
Because we had sold it. Because we were like, you know what? We are not do-it-yourselfers like TLC, HGTV. They're never going to hire us for a show. And I was telling someone, you guys see the background for Ed. Like, clearly we didn't even put up a new curtain for Chelsea to lighten it up. Like, it looks like,
But it matches so well.
Yeah, it does. But anyway, Johnny Lightning, I love this comment. We were talking about the course a couple minutes ago. He says you pay for the education however you get it. That's totally true. I mean, you pay for it now with something like buying the course for $97, or you pay for it later when you have someone charge you $500, and then you get to ask them questions. This is a really good question. Becky's asking, changing out the microwave to a convection microwave. Do we need to place a wood board between the back of the unit and the wall that has wires on it? And I can repeat that if you need to.
So inside of the installation manual, it's going to have the clearances from the back of the back of the convection oven to the wall, and as long as the distance from the back of the microwave or convection oven, from the distance from the back of it to the wall is correct, and the distance from the bottom of it to the next thing is correct, then you should be good to go. You shouldn't have to worry about putting another board back there. And depending on the construction of your coach, I'm pointing at my microwave. Depending on the construction of it, it could have bonded walls where it wouldn't be a big deal anyway. But if your microwave now has a vent on the back of it, also make sure you think about the placement of the vent because if you have a convection, if it has a draw, then you're going to have to stick it out the wall and vent that back out, or just never use the fan. That's up to you.
That sounds really complicated.
Oh yeah, when we bought ours, it had just some $25 Magic Chef microwave.
It has a really cheap microwave, which I didn't even notice. One day, Ed, I don't even remember. He was trying to cook something in the microwave or something, and he slams the microwave door, and he's like, "Gosh, I hate this microwave. It's not the one that came with it." And I said, "What are you talking about?" And he was like, "Liz, look at it. It's literally 50% of the room that's in it. It's constantly moving around when we drive it. How did you not notice?" And I was like,
it's got plywood sticking out further so that the outside diameter of the hole is bigger, smaller than the face of the microwave, so it doesn't rock it out and murder people while they're riding in the RV.
Yeah, that's what he told me, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. I just thought it was custom, or I thought it was standard, not custom.
Oh, it's custom, all right.
And this is why I felt so excited when Ed said he was going to do this course, because I was like, everyone needs an Ed. Because I know I can't be the only one out there that just has nearly no clue. No clue. Uh-oh, this is a really, really good question, and something I know Ed's dealt with a few times. I've had lots of issues with water coming in from my slide. What should I do to diagnose and repair?
So I'm going to answer this the same way as I answer it every other time. Get slide top awnings. It will fix all of it, and you will have to do nothing else. Now, why the water's coming in, I would have to be there in order to truly diagnose it. It could be the center of your slide is sagging down, so then when water comes in, it rushes underneath the seal. It could be the seals on the top and on the sides aren't sealing properly, but the easiest way to get, all these slide leak issues to be gone is just put an awning over top of it. It's not the 100% best way to fix it, but it is the quickest way and the least expensive way to fix it. Slide awnings are inexpensive, and almost any mobile tech, or even yourself, you could put. There's plenty of YouTube videos out there. We don't actually have that on our course, but there are plenty of YouTube videos to put up a slide awning. Joe. I don't know why they don't come with them from the factory.
Oh my gosh, I was
Um,
muted. Hang on, Ed. Let me repeat that. I'm so sorry, you guys. I was muted. I was just saying my friend Joe, what an idiot. My friend Joe, we were fixing his RV. Ed was redoing his slides, and they put the slide in for a little bit. I think Ed was readjusting their slide as well. And they put the slide in just a little bit, and all this rainwater started to flood into the RV. Chelsea started screaming. Their daughter started screaming, "It's raining in the RV!" And yeah, that's what Ed recommended. To get obviously the slide, straightened out, and then to put an awning on it. Just invest in that. I'm so sorry about that, you guys. I should stop muting myself. All right, do you guys have Charlie says, great sign language, but still no sound. That's a good one. Sorry
let's get
about
some more
that.
questions, guys.
No, that was me. I muted myself so I could type something, and then I forgot to unmute myself. I think I do have
Her
more.
keyboard is obnoxiously loud.
Yes, the keyboard is loud, so when I comment in the comment section, I usually try to mute it for you guys. Johnny says, that's okay, Liz. We're all friends here. I know, seriously. So this is just a side note. So I'm in lots of different, blogging groups. And I'm like, you guys don't understand. RVing is the best blog, niche to be in because everyone is so cool and so relaxed. And I just love you all. Thank you guys for being the best audience ever. Because even when I make a complete jerk, even when I make a complete jerk of myself, you guys still love me. So thank you. Ooh, this is an excellent question. Ed, Exploring the Local Life asks, how many cats are on your shirt?
That is actually a great question. But I do think I have a favorite. Where'd he go?
We're a little
White
off
one
topic
somewhere
here.
with blue eyes.
Have you guys seen the episode, I think it was the second episode where the trekkers said, Liz, that should be your tagline, we're a little off topic. And I actually just I've met the trekkers before, but I just saw them again on the summit at the happy hour. And
I can't find the cat.
Oh darn. But yeah, we're a little off topic right now, but I think that's okay. Like Johnny said, we're all friends here. Thank you guys for watching. Yeah, I see there's over 20 people watching, so if you're catching us right now, we are just talking all things RV maintenance. We're taking your questions live. We're seeing if we can stump Ed, the RV tech, and we're just
Wait, when did this turn into Stump Ed?
That was like 20 minutes ago. You got to keep up. All right, I do have, I think, one or two more questions that were sent in previously. Dick asks, what are your basic, standard, and deluxe self-repair toolkits? So let's start out with the basics. What basic tools do you absolutely have to have when you have an RV?
See, this is a hard one. It depends on how much you really plan on doing.
Okay, let's say they haven't bought the course, they don't plan on doing anything, but they know they might need to do something.
I would say a good set of tools to get would, if you plan on doing any kind of real maintenance on your RV, if you plan on, getting down and dirty and, doing everything that it takes, then I would start off with an inexpensive drill, something that, has just a regular chuck on it so it can grab onto a quarter-inch bit holder. I would get an inexpensive drill, something you like, something that's going to last a while. I would also get a mechanic style, toolkit that has sockets and wrenches and screwdrivers and all of that normal working stuff. I would also probably get a multimeter. And actually, we've put together this list we have put this list together for the course, but also I would do a ratcheting screwdriver. I don't know how often I use my ratcheting screwdriver, and then a couple good pairs of pliers, a couple universal or not universal wrenches, adjustable wrenches. And, really, even for me, as I go to a new job, if I need a new tool, Harbor Freight is always just a couple miles away. And a lot of buy super expensive tools. There's no need for it. I mean, your job is something very different. I mean, RV repair is only going to be a small portion of it. So don't go too crazy with tools. Don't overextend yourself on tools when you're only going to use them a couple times. Don't feel bad like, oh, I'm less of a mechanic because I bought Harbor Freight tools. They're going to take the bolt off or the nut or the screw just as easily as any other tool. So, grab yourself a drill, some sockets, some wrenches, maybe some pry bars, screwdrivers, just normal mechanic-y stuff, and some scrapers.
Okay, yeah. Johnny Lightning is asking, as someone who plans on doing all his own repairs, should I keep my 1-inch drive socket set?
Unless you plan on doing a lot of hitching and working on axles and, like the real heavy trailer stuff, there's no need. But really with a 1-inch, probably not. You're probably not going to need 1-inch. You'd probably be fine with half-inch. Half-inch is usually pretty much good enough.
Okay. Jeff is asking, how difficult is it to add an auto leveling system to your travel trailer?
That is something I've never done. But the great thing is the whole system is a monopoly, and Lippert pretty much owns everything. If you have a Lippert trailer, then there's going to be a Lippert system that's going to go right in. And I would use an electric over hydraulic, a system that each individual jack has its own hydraulic reservoir, so that way you don't have to pipe the whole thing.
Yeah, I'd also like to add that I know Less Junk More Journey added one when they bought their Airstream. So if you go to their YouTube channel.
I didn't even know that.
Oh, yeah. That was back when, before I had a blog, I watched their videos because I had time. And I remember, and I remember they added the auto leveling system, I do believe. So if you go to Less Junk More Journey, they should have a video on it. I'm sure you could just type in Google Less Junk More Journey auto leveling, and their video would probably pop up, and they might have better information for you. Exploring the local life. Oh, you're so sweet. This is all so far above knowledge. I'm assuming above my knowledge. Ed knows his stuff. Wow. I know, seriously. I was editing the videos, you guys. If you're friends with me on Facebook, I was sleeping in a tent, editing these videos. Chelsea, literally saw me leave the screen. I forgot to hit the mode, but Chelsea was just crying because she fell asleep and then she turned over and woke up. Like, I've been doing all this editing and things and watching Ed's videos, and I have just been blown away by the content and all the things, like this and the RV antifreeze and things that I just had no clue. And I'm sure the majority of people that begin RVing or have been RVing and just haven't had to deal with it yet just don't know. It's been super awesome to learn from him. And I'm not just saying that because he's my husband, because usually I don't like it when he tells me stuff. But this was
she
pretty
hates
cool.
it so much. She hates it so much.
But this was pretty cool. Ron said, Ron, are you talking about the auto leveling? Ron says he did it in a shop. It took 22 hours. I think that's what he's talking about. Oh, wow. So
is that Ron Henry?
Of course.
Oh, the Aqua Hot Ninja.
He's a fan of mine, Ed. I don't know if you know. So Ron and Ed went to school together. So if you ever see Ron in the comments, ask him questions too, because he is just a wealth of knowledge.
And if you're in the Cincinnati area, call him. He's the best in the area.
Okay, yeah. And Ron says, yes, he's talking about the auto leveling. So yeah, I guess, Ron, would you say that's 22 hours? That's probably a semi-difficult job then.
And that's probably mechanics who have done it a couple times, working straight in a shop with all the tools.
Right. So that's a pretty big job. But yeah, I would definitely chit-chat with Ron in the comments while you have him. Because he's another big wealth of knowledge for our family as well.
He's who I go to when I have questions, him and Bob.
Yeah. And tell us who Bob is, Ed.
Bob. Bob the elusive man. He's the instructor over at the school that I went to, and he is, you know, that guy who just, you ask a question and he knows everything. That's Bob. He could rattle off any, you know, the answer to any question in an RV. And Ron, I'm sure with you watching, you can comment. But I mean, he is just such an enormous wealth of information.
All right. So let's go back to that question about Dick. I know you said, you know, most people in an RV, you know, you don't need a super extensive tool list. But he also asked about, you know, if you are going to repair everything, like what would be that extensive tool list that maybe not everyone should have, but if you're going to try to fix everything on your RV, what are some things that you should try to have?
I think everything that I said would be a good thing is, as you start doing specialized jobs, you're going to start needing specialized tools. For instance, when I had to adjust a cable slide on an RV, I had to go to the store and actually buy a couple different tools because I needed them for that specific job. So anytime I would go out to a different job, something that I hadn't experienced before, or something that I had experienced, but I knew that there was an easier way to do it if I had the right tool, I would just go and buy the tool each time I had to do a job. I know it's not necessarily the most cost-effective way to do it, but I know
I'm like,
that
go on, not cost
I know that
effective.
every tool that I have has a use, and I can, you know, it is just an extension of my hands, you know, while I'm working. So it's something that I need in order to continue to repair.
Yeah, and that is true. I know a lot of times Ed's has had a job, and you know, he's come back to the RV and said, hey, you know, I've got to drive, you know, to Camping World or, you know, whatever the local RV dealer is and get this one part for this one thing.
One stupid part, like a $3 part sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. And so, you know, I guess that's any time you fix something, right? You know, you have to, especially when you have a limited space, when you know, you're in an RV, you don't want to carry around all these tools. You know, sometimes when it is that specialty job, you know, you just buy it when you have to and you don't bother with the space because it might never come up for you.
Right, and exactly what you're saying. I heard of a friend. They went to a course, you know, one of those in-house courses, and somebody mentioned, oh, it's always good to have a spare water pump. So they went on buy a spare everything. I mean, you're going to have so much crap that you can't even put your, you know, your dishes or your clothes or whatnot. So I know it sounds counterintuitive. People like to be prepared for things. Have a spare tire. Have water in your fresh tank. But buying all the tools that you may need later on down the road, I wouldn't do. I would just, you know, have the basics on hand, and then as you need something particular, then go and get it. I mean, I know that it's not always the best way to go, but tools are heavy. They're all made out of metal.
Yeah.
Almost all of them.
And I think, you know, it also depends on your rig. Like Ed and I have a Class C. It's an older Class C, so it doesn't have a lot of storage underneath. I mean, literally, Ed, you should turn the computer right now. If you get motion sickness, oh, is it disgusting?
I wouldn't say disgusting.
So Ed has been home. He's been living the bachelor life alone without Chelsea and I for 15 days. But I'm sure you know, if you go through any of my old videos, you'll see there's just literally a toolbox right there because we don't have a lot of storage. But if you have, you know, let's say you have a Prevost or a large Class A with a ton of bays, it might make sense for you to have a few of those extra spare parts because you have the room. But if you're a family like me traveling in a Class C that has no storage bays, it might not make as much sense. Or there's a family I met a family 2 days ago that had 7 kids. They had one of those amazing truck campers, or I'm sorry, not truck campers, trucks that had 6 doors, because they had 7 kids. They had 9 people driving in their truck, so they had to have an extended truck. So it might not make as much sense for that family to carry spare parts. But if you're just retired and, you have a Class A with a ton of storage bays, you can carry more parts. So, just like everything else in life, it probably just depends, right, Ed?
Yes. Everybody's scenario and situation is going to be different. I mean, if it makes you feel better to carry like 3 tubes of Dicor, some black wire, some white wire, some red wire, like an extra water pressure reducer, an extra black tank hose, an extra hose. I mean, there are things extra that you can bring, to make your lifestyle better, but I can't justify going out and buying all the tools that I may ever need. I mean, it's a lot of money worth of tools. I would just get it as you need it.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for that, Ed. I'm like, yes.
You're welcome.
I'm like, as needed, please. As the wife, let's see if we need it first.
I will say the one tool that I thought was excessive when I bought it, but I have used it a ton, is I have a big 1/2-inch impact. A big DeWalt I don't have it in here, but just a big giant impact. And it has been fantastic for taking wheels off of cars, off the RV, off the spare rack on the back. I've used that thing a ton.
Awesome. Thanks for that. So, holy crap. I was thinking this would be like a 30-minute segment because I knew, people were at the summit, the escapade, but we are 55 minutes in, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. So if you guys have any more questions, please let me know. Ron says he bought a root kit. Do you know what that is, Ed? Is that
a root kit?
Yeah. Oh, maybe he means toolkit. It's a typo.
Oh.
That's why I was asking you. So
yeah,
Ron
probably
says,
toolkit.
I bought a toolkit at Harbor Freight for $39 for my camper. It works great. And like we were saying, Ron is an excellent RV repairman. So if he says that's good, then we believe that's good.
Starting off, I mean, you don't need a lot to start off with. Don't overwhelm yourself with tools when you haven't even broken anything yet.
Love that. Somebody write that down. All right, so real quick, we've got a few minutes left, Ed. I know I asked you to prepare a couple kind of true-false statements to
Sure.
quiz me, since I did go through the course. I hope and pray that I get at least half of them right. But this is now Let's Stump Liz, so it probably won't be too hard to do because I did edit and watch the course from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. So if you did buy the course and you see the editing isn't perfect, just know I did my best and we will be upgrading it later.
Yes, a lot of that video is going to be reshot.
Yeah, I mean,
this is just a baseline. It's a beta.
Yeah, so Liz and Ed Wilcox, we're not perfect, but we care about you a lot. So that should be our tagline. Hey, Unknown Normal, they are in Tampa right now. They are close to Ed, and I'm trying to get back to Florida so I can meet them because they are so freaking awesome. But anyway, real quick, let's do kind of like a lightning round. And you guys in the comments, if you think you know the answer, please help a sister out because Ed cannot see the comments, but I can. So he won't know if I'm cheating. So let's go, Ed. First statement.
See the comments. All right. How often should I be on my roof?
Okay.
How often should I be on my roof inspecting it and resealing it as necessary?
Oh, crap. I can't remember if it's 6 months or 12 months.
I would say every 6 months at least.
Okay, yeah, 6 months.
Once at the beginning of the season after you de-winterize, and then once at the end of the season before you close everything up for the for the winter. And then if you're full timing, I would say to get up there even more often. I would say at least 3 times a year, just to rinse off road goo and leaves and pine needles and sap from parking under every tree in Florida.
Yeah, so Exploring the Local Life said yearly, so you would say that was way wrong.
I wouldn't say it's way
full-time.
wrong, but the problem with getting on your roof less often is the die-core can break down and start to get brittle, and if it starts getting cracks in it, you're going to want to seal that. So if you don't go up there for that amount of time, then you can be opening yourself up to more intrusions of water into your RV by not keeping it sealed.
Okay, yeah, and it's not, I mean, unless you have a severe fear of heights, it's not going to hurt you to go up there more often and check on it, right?
No, it's good to just go up there and look around at the rest of the park even, get a lay of the land. I mean, look around.
It's just a good scenery thing.
It's a higher view. No, but, I mean, there's also other things you need to do on your roof. There's...
Like what?
Cleaning out the leaves from your roof vents. Cleaning out the evaporator and the condenser, which should be done probably every 6 months as well. Because if your air conditioner's on, it's filtering air. And any air that gets trapped on the back side or the front side, depending on what style you have, on your condenser and evaporator, it actually makes it freeze easier. And also it makes it so it's less efficient because there's less airflow through the evaporator.
Gotcha. Yeah, so this was supposed to be rapid fire, but like I said, Ed is so full of information. Gosh, you guys.
Wow.
Seriously, what is wrong with me tonight? Well, usually I'm sitting down, so I have much more room to flow much more room for arm activities, you guys. Ron says that the birds eat it in Florida. I'm assuming he's talking about the die-core.
The birds will actually go up on your roof and pick at the die-core and just eat it.
Lovely. All right. Give me another one. Let's do this.
All right. This earlier, but how often should you clean your water heater?
I think that was when Chelsea was screaming, crying, and I wasn't listening. But Ed does go over this. See, this is like an insight to how well I listen as a wife. And I would say once a quarter.
Once a quarter is when I like to do it.
Yes, baby.
But also another good time to do it is if your water starts getting stinky, like you start getting rotten egg smell inside your water, and like when you open your water, it just smells like toots.
If your water smells like toots, check it, baby. That's our advice here at the virtual campground.
There's actually, in the water heater manual, there's a whole section that talks about if your water smells. So, and what to do. If you've never actually taken the time to break these puppies out, I mean, it's a super dry read, but they actually do give you a ton of good information. Like, we've got this manual right here. It's the...
This is live. I don't know if people are going to listen to you read it.
Well, I'm just going to... There was one part that I saw.
All right.
This was talking about the electric elements that we were talking about earlier.
Okay.
It says, do not alter water heater. It will void warranty. Do not use aftermarket heating elements. They can lack critical safety controls. And... use of aftermarket heating elements can lead to an out-of-control heating of water tank and a catastrophic wet side explosion.
All right, so it's a little more serious than you think.
Yeah, that's what happens when you put water in your water heater when the element is on and there's nothing in there.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It's like this big, giant, hot rod.
Well, think about in a sauna, what happens when you put water on the...
Right.
Like...
All right, everyone's laughing about the fact that you said toot.
Come on, I've got a 4-year-old.
He's trying to censor it, because I told him to be good. All right, let's go to the next question.
Oh, I put the questions down. Sorry.
Fine.
Let me
We'll just
find
do
one
a
more good
couple
one.
more because we're over time.
All right. Here's a question. Does your generator have an octane minimum?
No.
Yes.
Damn it. I mean, dang it.
So in my generator manual, I found, as I was thumbing through, I found that the generator actually calls for at least 87 octane fuel. So
Now,
in those states,
now, can I ask you, I'm sorry, Ed, to interrupt. What does that mean?
What does what mean?
Octane fuel? What was the question?
It's, okay, so octane and fuel, I'm not a scientist, so this may be wrong.
Let's preface here with, I'm
Octane
not
and fuel, it has to do with how clean the fuel is, how much it's been purified.
Okay, that makes
sense. And
sense.
how many BTUs are actually in the fuel. I think that I'm...
Hey, Ron, where are you? Where are you, Ron? Okay,
where you at, Snopes?
So basically what you're saying is the fuel has to be clean?
No. When you're putting gas into your RV, you have to maintain at least an 87 octane fuel, which I'm sure that almost every RV manufacturer says 87.
Okay.
You can't go like pulling up to the 85 pump and like tanking it up and thinking, your Jenny's going to work just fine.
Oh,
you need to
maintain. I get it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you need to maintain the octane rating for your generator to operate properly.
Okay.
But that's my generator. I mean, read your own manuals, find out what yours takes. Find out the information that your RV has. We've got this sweet, if I can get it. We've got this sweet Jayco book that came with ours that has all of our manuals in it.
And again, that's not sponsored. We actually own a Jayco. And like I said, TVC Live, nobody's sponsoring this. I said that last week. Hey, I just want to say congrats to Tom. Tom just purchased Fix It Yourself. Phil, he just purchased, and Therese and another Phil. Actually, that's really funny. 2 Phils in the last hour. So yeah, if you're interested in the course, I know we're a little out of time, but yeah, Ed and I, we just released a course. Ed obviously is the content guy. I made sure, to edit it properly and make sure it was easy for you guys to digest. Linda is asking, will your course show us newbies how to perform preventative maintenance in detail and demonstrating?
On what?
Well, that's a good question, Ed. So I'll answer this one. Yes, this course, like I said, I edited the whole thing. I learned so much because RV maintenance isn't my specialty. It's totally Ed's. And we have 9 modules. 7 are totally up. The other 2 are coming in April. But yes, Ed shows you a ton of preventative maintenance because we find that if people just know how to work their systems properly in the first place, that fixes your RV all in itself. So we go through generators. There's a lot of preventative maintenance videos in there. How to change your oil, how to change your air filter, all that good stuff. Water systems, how to change your hot water, how to drain it like we were just talking about. You need to do that every quarter, things like that. Tire maintenance, which a lot of that is preventative. I mean, once the tire blows, you can't really maintain it. You have to replace it. We go through roof maintenance, getting that Dicor on there, changing the roof vent, changing the skylight. A lot of that, again, is preventative maintenance. What else? Electrical and batteries. We talk about how to diagnose whether your battery is good or bad, when to change it.
Talk about tires?
Yep, I just said that. And what are the other modules? I'm trying to think.
We've got water systems.
Yep, I
We've
just
got
said that. Were you
electrical
not
systems.
This is what happens when you get a husband and wife on live. I'm like, didn't you just hear me? I'm only missing 1. So the 2 that are coming out that are also refrigeration and slides, I'm missing 1, module 7. I'm so sorry about that. But yes, a lot of it is, I would say 50% to 60% is actually preventative maintenance, showing you literally, Ed's got the camera right here, showing you this is how you drain your oil, this is how you put in your oil, everything like that. So
I'm also kind of funny.
yeah, and he does try to make it funny. I mean, some of it's a little corny, but I think it's it's informative and entertaining, and I just think it's a great way for you to learn all about your RV and your systems. A question that I've been having a lot is, does this work for older RVs? Yes, the systems don't change very often. Of course, you have fancier rigs that have something like AquaHot instead of a regular hot water system. But for the most part, RVs haven't changed in a while. We all have that black tank. We all have that hot water heater. We all have, the generator. So, yeah, whether you have a 2018 rig or a 2001 rig, this is going to be really beneficial to you. And the course is for sale only until March 23rd. That is Saturday. The offer for $97 is going to expire Saturday night, I think at 10
4 days.
Yeah, so just a few more days. And actually, we are at right before the show and right before a few of those people bought, we are 60% full. We're only taking a limited number of students. Like I said in the email today, if you got it, there's only 2 of us on the team, Ed and Liz Wilcox, and we don't want to take too many students in, so where we can't fulfill our promise of actually helping you fix your RV for yourself. So we're only taking a limited number of RVers, of students, so that's 60% full. So if you want the course and you don't have the link, I actually think I forgot to put it in the description, of course. So just
Here, hold on.
Yeah, Ed can put it in, but it is fixityourself.teachable.com, or you can just email me and I'll send you the link. It's only $97. The course will be re-releasing May 1st for $197. So if you're interested in it, just get it right now. It's $97. Even if you only fixed one thing on your RV with the course, it pays for itself.
Oh, you're saving money if you fix one thing.
Yeah, because most RV techs charge $100, $150 an hour, $70 to $100 just to come out to your rig, things like that. So it's just a great deal. We really believe in the virtual campground and helping each other and creating products for you that actually truly help you. So we want to let you in at this $97 price. But anyway, I don't see any questions that I didn't actually answer. So thank you guys so much. Natasha says toots magoots. That's hilarious.
Toots magoots.
I'm going to teach that one to Chelsea. But anyway, we are all out of time. We're like 10 minutes over. But thank you guys so much. Again, if you're interested in the course, just email me, liz@thevirtual.com or at thevirtualcampground.com, and I'll shoot you the link, or you can get it right now at fixityourself.teachable.com. Thank you guys so much. I'm so glad you guys were with us tonight. And Ed's being super corny, so let's end it on that note. Good night, guys.